Preseason game number 2 is almost here for the Houston Texans. Who do we expect to play on offense after D'Amico Ryans revealed earlier this week that starters are going to play against the Pittsburgh Steelers? Let's get into it. And, well, let's start with the quarterback spot. Starters playing. That means number 7 is going to be out there, CJ Stroud. I'd expect a series or two, maybe that third series, as Bobby Slowick talked earlier this week about what you get out of those first couple of series kind of dictates if you change your game plan, if guys go maybe a little bit longer. Hey, we didn't see any third downs because of this or because of that. Let's give them one more series. Or, hey, we got enough work in those first couple of series. Go ahead and get Davis Mills ready. We know CJ Stroud's going to play, and I'm excited to watch him against a defense that's not the Houston Texans defense, a defense that knows his tendencies, knows what he looks like in practice every day, knows a lot of the plays that he's been running in practice as well. Excited to see this Texans offense led by CJ Stroud against a different set of defense. So I'd expect 7 to play, and I expect him to play about 3 series in this one. Now for the running backs. Joe Mixon is not been practicing, so Joe Mixon's not going to be the starter at running back. That job is going to fall to Dameon Pierce. He didn't play in the first preseason game, and he sat out kinda in the light practice on Wednesday this week, but I got to imagine that he's going to get some opportunities against the Pittsburgh Steelers to play in this matchup. And frankly, we need to see Dameon Pierce. We need to see him go out there, execute the things that he couldn't execute last year, get into a rhythm maybe with this offense as well. And we know this rushing attack has to be better than it was a year ago. Pierce is not going to have the load of that on his shoulders if Joe Mixon is healthy, but Joe Mixon's not healthy right now. And Mixon, despite being a bell cow type of running back, he can't be the only guy that's carrying the football. So Dameon Pierce should get some action here against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I'm excited to see what Pierce can do. And I'd even give him more time with the offense than when CJ Stroud leaves the game. I'd let him get in there and catch a couple of handoffs and passes from Davis Mills in the preseason action as well. Now, oh boy, rub your hands together, get excited. It's the wide receiver conversation, and I don't know that we're going to see the three-headed monster at wide receiver. I put Stefon Diggs in the maybe category. Took the big hit from Jimmy Ward in the Tuesday practice in Cleveland, and then Wednesday wasn't at the lighter, geared down practice for the Texans. Well, he was there, but he wasn't practicing. But if Diggs can go, he's going to be foaming at the mouth to go, and the Texans are going to have a hard time keeping him off the field, and he should start if he gets the okay from the doctors with Nico Collins and Tank Dell. Should be able to see all 3 of them on the field at the same time. It wouldn't surprise me if you get a little rotation of those 3 in the first team situation, but I'd love to see them all on the field at the same time. Don't show anything fancy, Bobby Slowick, but getting those guys on the field all at the same time and just kind of showcasing what this offense could look like with those 3 weapons at wide receiver, it certainly does get really exciting to see if we can just see just some of the basic stuff that they do. It's hard to defend them in practice with this Texans defense that's got a really solid pass rush so far and has some cornerbacks that have played pretty darn well, and Kamari Lassiter and Derek Stingley. Can't even imagine what maybe a not first-team Steelers, total first-team Steelers defense would be able to put together against this Texans wide receiver trio that's got everybody so excited. I'll put Diggs as a maybe. I'd say Collins and Dell, you for sure would see them in this matchup as long as they're healthy, and that would be the fun one. 7 with 1 and 3 and 12. That's what we all really want to see this year on offense, and I have a hunch we'll get to see it, pending Diggs being healthy, against the Pittsburgh Steelers in game 2 of the preseason. First team offense playing in this one, no better time than to do a little first team daily fantasy. My friends at Prize Picks have got you covered, and I've got you covered with a special offer of play 5, get 50. Use my code STOOTS, STOOTS. That's STOOTS, STOOTS, in the link in the description down below. It'll autofill for you. And if not, just type that Stoots code in and get 50 when you play your first 5. Prize Picks, so easy. Less than 60 seconds, you could 10 times your entry, turn $10 into $100 just like that, less than 60 seconds. I don't know why it took me so long to figure out how easy it is for Prize Picks. And I've given you the promo here, play 5, get 50. They've always got fun stuff for you. They're already putting entries together for you from the community. You got Olympic entries that they make for you, or it's football time. Put together a football entry of your own. You've even got the flex play where you don't have to win all the pieces of your entry either. You're just predicting more or less on given stats for players across sports, and there's so many sports to choose from at Prize Picks. They're the best. Play 5, get 50 when you use my code STOOTS, STOOTS. It's prizepicks.com, or use the link in the description down below. Use code STOOTS to receive a guaranteed 50 when you play 5 in lineups. Don't miss it. As for the tight ends, look, this is going to be 86. Dalton Schultz going to be your starter. But the question about tight ends is Brevin Jordan going to be able to go? Didn't practice in Cleveland when the team was there for practices on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So if he's not healthy, that bumps Cade Stover up to that second tight end spot. And you could see 86 and 87 on the field together a little bit here when the Texans go with 2 tight ends in a setup. And I don't know that Schultz needs a ton of work. I know that Bobby Slowick has talked about how Dalton Schultz is one of the underrated pieces of this offense, and it'd be cool to see him out there with the wide receiver trio if Diggs can indeed go in this one. But I'd also like to see a little bit of Cade Stover. Now, Schultz could play maybe a little bit longer than some others just because they could be short on tight ends. No Tegan Quintiriano because he's still banged up, and no Brevin Jordan if he goes. That leaves Dalton Schultz, Dalton Keene, and Cade Stover as your tight end. So you could see Schultz obviously with the starters, but then maybe a little Stover mixed in there as well with Schultz, and then ultimately 86 hands it over to 87 for the rest of the game. We get a little bit of Cade Stover, Davis Mills, and then Cade Stover and the rest of the backups action as well. Stover's going to play a lot in this preseason game, and I know the big farm boy from Ohio is ready for this one. Now here comes the offensive line for you. I would tell you I feel pretty good about 3 guys repeating their start from the first preseason game. That's Kenyon Green at left guard. That's Drew Scruggs at center. The only caveat I'd put in there is Kenyon Green looked like he might have been dealing with a little bit of a bug there in Cleveland during some of the practices. So if he has a little bit of a bug issue, if he is getting bothered just a tiny bit because of his stomach, then maybe you'd have somebody else in there at left guard, maybe the newly signed this week, Cam Irving, who's got a little guard tackle flexibility. And then, hey, you tell me the starters are going to play Mr. Starter, Mr. Iron Man from the offensive line last year. That's Shaq Mason. You see him go at right guard. And then Titus Howard leaving the practice field, going to the Blue Medical Tent this week in Cleveland, ultimately not practicing on the final day in Cleveland. I would tell you that Howard's probably a no-go in this one, which means you'll get Nick Broker, the former guard, turned right tackle. No Charlie Heck, who would be the backup right tackle for this team. So you get Nick Broker over there at right tackle. So your offensive line to start, left to right, should be Blake Fisher at left tackle, Kenyon Green at left guard, Drew Scruggs at center, Shaq Mason at right guard, and then Nick Broker at right tackle. That should be good enough to protect C.J. Stroud for the few times that he goes out there. I'd make sure that Broker has a little bit of help if some of the big-time dudes on the Steelers defense, like Highsmith or maybe T.J. Watt, go in this one. So I'd make sure just, Daria Gumbawale is ready to help out Nick Broker a little bit. And then Blake Fisher, hey, if you get a Highsmith matchup, you get a Watt matchup, hey, you're on an island, kid. You've been going against Daniil Hunter and Will Anderson. Go out there and make it work and make it happen there. They got to help out the other guy. They can't help you out on that one. So what say you? You like that starting lineup on offense for the Texans in this matchup against the Pittsburgh Steelers? I kind of like it, especially if we can get that 3-headed monster at wide receiver, that wide receiver trio that we're all so excited about. If we get to watch that one with C.J. Stroud, everything else will be kind of gravy in this preseason matchup and this preseason performance by the Houston Texans. So hoping that Diggs gets the okay. And I mean, even if he's pretty close, they might have a hard time keeping one off the field. He's probably the biggest question mark on won't he from the starters on offense. Then, of course, you got everybody else on the offense. Davis Mills, the rookie running backs, J.J. Taylor, the wide receiver battle will rage on between Xavier Hutchinson and John Mechie and Ben Skoranek and Robert Woods and so many other different things to pay attention to and observe on this offense. We'll have, of course, the breakdown for you after the game right here on the YouTube channel. We also have the ability for you to buy the hats now. Yes, that's right. The red hats for sale in the store link down below in the description. And folks have been asking for the red hats. You got an opportunity. But got a little surprise for you. You've been asking for the red, and we got the red for you. You want to buy the red? You got the red. How about a limited edition run on the blue? On this blue. Looks like a certain, blue that is famous with a city. I like these blue hats. In fact, I go as far as say I love them. Got a couple of the blue hats for you to purchase as well. If you purchase a red and blue hat, you get a little bit of a discount as well. And that link is in the description down below. Get you a red hat, get you a blue hat, get you both hats. And I got one Navy hat left. If you want that Navy hat, I'll send it to you as well. I pack them myself. I write the label out myself, and then I send them to the post office and send them out to you. I got them sitting right here across from me, and I want to send them to you. So check out that link in the description down below. And get you a hat, baby. Get you a hat. So don't miss out on that. And don't miss this preseason game tomorrow night if you're watching this Thursday. And if you're watching this Friday morning, thanks for watching it. Tonight, it'll be the preseason game. Preseason game number 2 of 4 for the Houston Texans. So can't wait to watch that one in Pittsburgh. And hopefully Mother Nature's a little nicer on this one, and we actually get 4 quarters of football in this matchup. Appreciate you watching the video. Hope you enjoyed it, and I can't wait until we talk Texans again soon.